Do you remember this moment? Do you remember this other moment? Well, in WWE, it's full of moments that have gotten out of hand. It's understood that beyond wrestling, the show has to be complemented with entertainment. While there have been fun moments, there have also been truly embarrassing moments. And that's why I'll stop talking now. And today I'll present to you 10 embarrassing moments that happened in WWE. Number 10. An evil virus? Chris Jericho and CM Punk got into a pretty controversial feud throughout 2012. For several weeks, Jericho humiliated CM Punk with insults and accusations against his family. At one point, Chris Jericho, after attacking CM Punk outside the ring, started pouring whiskey on him and his body, publicly humiliating him in front of all the fans. The embarrassment came when Chris Jericho tried to kick Punk in the head and ended up slipping on the same whiskey he had spilled. The fans burst out laughing, and Jericho, with his usual professionalism, kept attacking as if nothing had happened. At Punk, he would confess years later in an interview that he was about to break character and burst out laughing at that moment. Number 9. A Mexican mistake. Alberto Del Rio is truly excellent in the ring, loved by some and hated by others. El Patrón Alberto Del Rio. He always said that he didn't come to WWE to try to be a second Eddie Guerrero. He came to that company to captivate everyone with his own character. At the 2013 Elimination Chamber event, Big Show faced Alberto Del Rio in a submission match for the World Heavyweight Championship. In the match, Big Show was dominating, and suddenly he tried to grab a bucket to throw it at Ricardo Rodriguez, who had been interfering throughout the match to help his boss, Del Rio. At the moment when Big Show had the bucket in his hand near his head, Alberto Del Rio was supposed to come in and hit the bucket so that Big Show would end up hitting himself. Unfortunately, that's not how it happened, or rather, it did happen. But on the second try, a miscalculation made Alberto Del Rio unable to hit the Giant on the first attempt. Big Show, for his part, acted as if nothing happened and kept the bucket near his head while waiting for the second hit. Number 8. Matt's fall. 11 years ago, another episode of WWE Superstars was held in the United Kingdom. One of the most embarrassing entrances ever was happening. Matt Hardy, the man who never dies, was making his traditional entrance alongside his talented partner Justin Gabriel. When both of them got into the ring, Matt was getting ready to do his traditional pose for all the fans. When the moment came, Matt Hardy couldn't hold himself up properly and ended up going headfirst to the ground. Fortunately, Matt took it very well and ended up laughing about this mishap. Although without a doubt, it must have been a more than embarrassing moment for him. Just imagine if this same mistake had happened to you. In Royal Rumble number 7, an unintentional elimination number. The Royal Rumble is one of the favorite events for all wrestling fans. The basic rule of the match is to eliminate your opponent over the top rope. He will be eliminated when both of his feet touch the floor. What we need to be clear about is that in the Royal Rumble, there is also a guideline. There is a script and it must be respected. The eliminations have to match the timing, and each wrestler already has their time in the ring defined beforehand. In the 2011 Royal Rumble, it's not clear whether the mistake was made by John Cena or Alex Riley. John Cena and Kofi Kingston were trying to eliminate Alex Riley. Alex Riley wasn't supposed to be eliminated yet, but he slipped off the top rope. John Cena couldn't do much with his hands and eventually ended up being eliminated. Alex Riley. This was told a year later by Alex Riley himself, who, after several mistakes, ended up being fired from the company. Alex Riley ended up directly blaming John Cena and said that it was Cena who didn't support him. The next wrestler to enter was him, to whom the production gave the new details of the improvisation they had to do. Number 6, let's fly, Montez Ford. It's well known that Montez Ford is a true athlete in the ring. His skill and agility show that Montez Ford is capable of much more. The wrestler had a terrible mishap during a live episode of Monday Night Raw on March 30, 2020. The Street Profits teamed up with Kevin Owens to face Seth Rollins, Theory, and Angel Garza. The problem came when Montez Ford had to jump from the ring to the outside. What was planned was that Seth Rollins was supposed to grab his foot and prevent him from jumping. But at that moment, Rollins was late and Montez Ford had no choice but to jump to the outside anyway. The problem was that Austin Theory was never expecting anyone to land on him, so he was never paying attention to Montez's jump. The fall under the ring was so hard, especially because he slammed his back on the metal ramp, and in fact it sounded like this. Number 5. Hold him down. On January 18th, 2016, Mark Henry and his team with Tyrus O'Neil, Truth, and also Neville faced Tyler Breeze, Stardust, and Ascension. The match was pretty balanced. 4-on-4 matches usually end up being really good, especially if they're given enough time so each wrestler can really give their best against each other. At one point in the match, Tyrus O'Neil lifted Tyler Breeze and Mark Henry into the air. He couldn't think of anything better than getting into the ring to support his friend and also to end up punishing Tyler Breeze. Tyrus O'Neil saw that his powerful friend was behind him and couldn't think of anything better than to throw Tyler Breeze at him. But Mark Henry, even though he was paying attention, raised his hands too late and couldn't catch him. It's always said that you have to be very careful with situations like this, because the wrestler being thrown expects another wrestler to catch them, right? And if that doesn't happen, he can fall and end up in very bad shape. Number 4. Stupid Rain. WrestleMania is the most sacred event in every wrestler's career because it's the showcase of the immortals, where every wrestler wants to show themselves and give their best to create a WrestleMania moment. Well, Mandy Rose achieved that at WrestleMania 37. The wrestler from New York was teaming up with Dana Brooke in a tag team tournament in a gauntlet match style. We were all aware of the huge storm that hit Tampa, Florida that afternoon and almost caused WrestleMania to be suspended. When Mandy Rose was walking down the ramp to the ring, she ended up slipping and that resulted in a quick fall. It's understood that this happened because WWE didn't have time to dry the entrance ramp. Mandy Rose blew up social media and everyone took the time to make funny pictures, memes, and even some amusing videos. Number 3. Watch out for the hole. Randy Orton had a truly embarrassing moment on SmackDown. On July 22, Red Machine lifted him up to apply the claw. That's when Orton tried to defend himself as best he could, after the announcer's table was missing some of the monitors. That's how Orton threw a big kick at Kane and ended up putting his foot into a bottomless hole. He put his foot where a monitor should have been, fell to the ground along with the table, and got up as if nothing had happened. Number 2. Eva Marie's fail number. Eva Marie. She worked in WWE since 2013, and the company gave her several opportunities, even though they knew her in-ring skills were quite poor. Eva Marie was never able to establish herself as a true wrestler in professional wrestling, but she did give us a rather unique moment. In 2016, she would face Becky Lynch on the SmackDown show. Unfortunately, a big problem happened to her. Her bra broke and she couldn't start wrestling. The embarrassment of the wrestler was quite big. Becky Lynch laughed and didn't understand anything. The referee was the one who saved her at that moment. He got her a towel so she could cover herself and head to the locker room. Later, we would realize that all of this was planned. It was part of a storyline that WWE had planned for Eva Marie to be a cowardly villain, where she would always come up with excuses not to fight. Unfortunately, this wasn't well received by the audience either, and Eva Marie was never able to really connect with the fans. After she was fired from the company, she said that moment was very embarrassing. Number 1. Those who fight love each other. At the 2009 Breaking Point event, Randy Orton faced John Cena in a match and quit. It was Orton who dominated most of the match, and it was Orton who went crazy in that fight. At one point, fighting under the ring, Orton attacked Cena near the stairs and then tied his hands to hit him freely. When Orton was trying to stop John Cena, Cena could barely stand and ended up in a somewhat awkward position on Orton's body. The quick eye of a camera managed to capture the exact moment. The photo quickly circulated on the internet, and many said it was practically a subliminal message that Orton and Cena were engaged. Cena never commented on this, but surely the embarrassment probably never let him speak. It seems Orton liked it because a few months ago he shared this photo on his personal Instagram. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, Orton also wanted to switch places. He took a picture with a photo of John Cena, but this time he was kneeling.